Dragon Ball Super episode 54 was yet another really satisfying episode. It contains a lot of new information, enjoyable moments, and at the end it left us on a cliffhanger. The animation quality was also above average. Overall, I'm rating it 7.8 out of 10. Before going into detailed analysis, I want to highlight the top 3 moments of this episode. Number 3. Gowasu promotes Zamasu. This one was a WTF moment. Gowasu is like, hey, my student has recently lost his mind. He wants to destroy the mortals going against the rules. His tea brewing skills degraded. He got his ass whooped by a mortal and then would sneak attack if I didn't stop him. This sounds like the perfect time to officially promote him to a full-fledged Kaioshin. Also, it must be the perfect time to show him and educate him about the use of the time rings and give him the earring which can be used for fusion. I mean, what the fuck, Gowasu? You are literally giving him all the resources required for causing something like the Black Chaos. It almost feels like, subconsciously, Gowasu also wants to destroy the mortals. It is like when your son returns home after getting bullied at school. You buy him a gun and show him how to use it, and tell him that you're not saying he should use it, it is just for educational purpose. It would be really badass if he used it, but that's of course not the right thing to do. I'm absolutely not suggesting you to take this to school, and also I'm not going to take the gun away from you because I trust you. Number 2. Future Trunks got his motivations back. After failing to do anything at all against Goku Black in the future timeline, and after going through some really traumatic time, Trunks lost all confidence in him. After hearing Goku fights the likes of Kaioshins and even the God of Destruction, he started feeling he's next to useless. Vegeta noticed, and obviously he's not going to let Trunks leave like that. So he gave him an intense training session and beat the shit out of him to the point he felt like he really needs to train again. And that message was sent when he sneakily headbutted Vegeta, taking the advantage of the distraction created by Bulma. Vegeta said he was going to reward Trunks if he's able to attack him, and the reward is probably more training or something like that. And by this move, Future Trunks showed that he's now interested in getting stronger, instead of just sitting back and letting Goku and Vegeta handle everything. Number 1. The Omni King wants to meet Son Goku. Obviously this was a big surprise for Beerus and Whis, and anyone of the Kaioshin and God Realm would specifically find it more shocking. The Omni King, the god of the gods in Dragon Ball universe, wants to meet an ordinary mortal, Goku. The superiority of the Omni King is further highlighted through the reaction of Beerus, the god of destruction, totally freaked out seeing him in Whis' staff. So this is huge. We don't know why he wants to meet Goku. Goku did make an exceptional first impression on the Omni King, so let's see. So that was basically my top 3. Now let's get into the details. Firstly, I want to talk about the Zamasu-Gowasu incident. Like I mentioned earlier, it was a WTF decision from Gowasu to promote Zamasu at this point of time. I also think Beerus and Whis should have explained the reason they made the visit that way. He could be extra careful about Zamasu. However, they traveled 1000 years into the future to observe what happens to the mortals of the planet Bavari. And following the natural mortal nature, they are still fighting among themselves. So, it goes without saying there's no change of philosophy from Zamasu's viewpoint. But, we got some really valuable information from this scene. It is always said that the time ring can only be used to go to the future. Black was able to travel to the past only because Future Trunks created a time distortion and he basically followed the track. Of course, was later pulled back by the time ring. But from what Gowasu said in this episode, it sounds like you can actually travel to the past using the time ring. It is just prohibited because it would change the history and can have impacts as big as creating parallel worlds. In a matter of fact, some idiot did travel back in time and created parallel worlds. And that light green time ring were born when history was changed. So these differently colored time rings might have different functionalities that they didn't explain in this episode. What is really interesting here is this also means Dragon Ball Super will sooner or later introduce the concept of parallel worlds. Many Dragon Ball fans confuse this concept of a parallel world with Universe 6 and even the future Trunks timeline. While Universe 6 is a twin of Universe 7, the timelines are the same worlds. None of it is parallel. So don't ever say things like there are a Goku or there's a Mr. Popo in Universe 6. It is not parallel. However, according to Gowasu, someone even created a parallel world. We don't know it is a parallel to what, but if it is a parallel to the universe we know of, then in that case you could say things like Goku or Vegeta of the parallel world. So I think this Gowasu mentioning a parallel world was interesting, and I wonder if it will come to play in this very arc. Anyways, I think things are getting very confusing for some fans, with so many complexities regarding timelines, universes, and now the concept of the parallel universes. And as we know, the concepts are vastly different in Dragon Ball universe compared to other fictions. So I would suggest them to create a special explaining all this new concept of gods and time. Also, Zamasu's evil intention was highlighted again, further hinting towards his involvement with Goku Black. He is now wearing that green Potara earring on his left ear as shown in DVH opening. When Toriyama first announced the arc, he made an announcement that it will feature a battle surpassing time and space that will even involve Kaioshin, the god of destruction, and even the Omni King. So, we already had Kaioshin and Beerus involved, and thus I believe Omni King will get involved with this black issue. However, his reason of inviting Goku over could be different. He might want to talk about that Omniverse tournament or something like that, and then Goku might request him to hold it later because they have this Goku Black problem to handle now. The real complexity here is the Omni King is all powerful, so if he is on Goku's side, he just can wipe out Goku Black and solve the issue. We know he can get quite violent in terms of maintaining discipline, as he had earlier destroyed 6 universes. The reason hasn't been mentioned yet, but it is quite possible that those universes were under some Makaioshians or evil entities who were manipulating time, and he just didn't want it to spread to other universes. Or could it be something related to the parallel world Gowasu mentioned earlier on? I think they will create a situation where the Omni King would stand in a position where if he wants he can destroy Goku Black. But since he's so much related to time and all, destroying him like that could cause harm to all the universes and mess things up. So he is to be taken care of differently. Maybe they need to get back the time ring and thus he would leave it up to Goku and his friends. Or a scenario like the Omni King, after hearing about this, would want to destroy Universe 6 and all the related timelines with Black to stop the problem, and Goku would request him to give him some time. So the Omni King would be involved in this sense, or maybe his involvement would remain restricted to giving guidelines to Goku. We can only wait to find out more about this. This episode also highlighted that weird crush Mai has on Future Trunks. She actually had a daydream where Future Trunks was about to kiss her. This kid, Future Trunks, and Mai's story is really getting weird. I think Future Mai will be the one to put a stop to it. Vegeta did a very decent job to motivate Future Trunks. Goku and Vegeta's training motivations emphasize more on them becoming stronger. As much a badass Future Trunks was, he always trained or fought to protect his loved ones only. He rarely ever wanted to train for the sole purpose of getting stronger. So after knowing how strong Goku and Vegeta is, he was kind of willing to sit back and let them handle it. But Vegeta's intense beat up perhaps made him realize that he needs to man up. Vegeta kind of tried to pull a Kabe SSG on him, and he was successful even this time in a slightly different way. So at this point, Dragon Ball Super is really doing well with the story. Some fans are getting impatient and thinks the pacing is too slow. But I absolutely love it, because the pacing is very similar to that of DBZ, which was absent in DBGD, or in the earlier arcs of DBS. The main story feels way more involving if we get time to be attached to the characters first. I will soon upload my Dragon Ball Super Episode 55 preview breakdown, where I will talk about those small Kaioshins and whiz looking guys on Omni King's place. Well, that's all for now. Check out my Facebook page Dragon Ball Fans for daily news and updates. Also, you can join the Dragon Ball group and share your theories there, and my admins will forward the good ones to me. Links are given on the description down below.